Welcome all. I am here to explain about the state of state finances in the COVID-19 crisis and lockdown imposed. We need to understand this because states spend 1.5 times more than the union. They employ 5 times more than the center. Then too, they are dependent on center for almost 50% of their revenues. State finance, a study of budget of 2019-20, a study by RBI shows that total revenue of a state consists of 47.5% of central devolution of taxes. The devolution is recommended by Finance Commission and 50% by its own taxes. Center devolve funds to states under various heads such as state share in taxes, grants recommended by Finance Commission, funds for centrally sponsored schemes, funds under National Disaster Response Fund, etc. The formula of devolution of tax proceeds is decided by Finance Commission for 6 years. There is no hard and fast rule. We can see the variations here only. 14th Finance Commission has considered the factors such as population, area, forest and ecology, income, distance, while the 15th Finance Commission has also considered factors such as demographic, performance, tax effort, etc. Of the 50% revenues generated by own taxes, 90% of tax revenue of state consists of revenues generated from liquor sale of petroleum products, stamp duty, registration of vehicles and land, and these revenues are declined by 80 to 90% due to COVID-19 pandemic. Also, the pandemic has resulted in increased expenditure on testing, quarantine facilities and treatment, health infrastructure, cash transfers, food and shelter, home requirements. Increased expenditure and drastic fall in revenue has put state finances in precarious situation. To mitigate the impact of COVID-19, states have made some general demands to center. First, to speed up the GST compensation. To address loss of revenue from GST implementation, the GST Compensation Act 2017 was enacted. The center government is expected to compensate any shortfall against 40% growth in GST collection to the states using funds collected as GST compensation cess. Second, to revise FRBM Act to extend the limit of fiscal deficit. This act was enacted to check the fiscal discipline. Third, to increase the limit of ways and means advances. It is a borrowing facility provided by RBI to center and state for temporary mismatch in finances. In second monetary package, RBI has increased this limit by 60%. Fourth, to extend borrowing limit. One fact to consider is that center can avail loan at 6%, but states are able to avail loan on interest rate as high as 8 to 9%. Also, center has power to limit the borrowings of state. It is provided in the Constitution of India. Now I'll be dealing with particular states. They are Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Kerala, a role model which has contained the COVID crisis beautifully. In Kerala, there is a left Democratic Party led government with Pinarayi Vijayan as Chief Minister and Mr. T.M. Thomas Isaac as Finance Minister. Here you can see at the data point that Kerala desperately needs center's assistance to meet its obligations. Monthly expenditure of Kerala is around 6,750 crores. It has its own health scheme to spend on, that is comprehensive health insurance scheme. Majority of its revenue is spent on paying salaries, pensions and maintenance. It has been trying to maintain the fiscal discipline. It has also enacted Kerala Fiscal Response and Budgetary Management Act, the borrowings have decreased and the repayments were done at constant pace. Centre's devolution of taxes has also increased from around 32,000 crores to 35,000 crores. It has balanced the developmental and non-developmental expenditures deftly. Developmental expenditure include capital expenditure, expenditure on infrastructure, in all the expenditures which aid or complement the future revenue generation. Alcohol and tourism are the two major contributors of state's revenue. Kerala has arguably the highest per capita consumption of liquor in the country. It has banned foreign liquor shops also. Government has state monopoly over liquor sales in the states. There are around 115 state-run liquor outlets with the name Kerala State Beverages Corporation outlet. Coming on to the month of April, there is revenue drop from 1950 crores in April 2019 to 153 crores in April 2020. Only 2,000 crore are left with state, and the debt servicing expenses plus salary and service pension expenditure accounts to 6,750 crore approximately. Revenue deficit grants received are of 1,276 crores. Kerala has borrowed around 6,000 crores as against the annual limit of 24,500 crores. Supply chain disruption of medical and essential goods had added to the suffering. The state has requested Centre to clear the arrears of GST compensation of about 5,000 crores and to extend the borrowing limit from 3 to 5%. It has also asked to enhance the allocation for National Health Mission, which was launched in 2013, subsuming National Rural Health Mission and National Urban Health Mission, which is extended till March 2020 for strengthening of rural and urban health infrastructure. Getting on to the state which has evidenced the political instability when whole country was planning to deal with COVID crisis. Right now, the state is led by BJP government with Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan as Chief Minister and is expecting by-elections on 24 constituencies in 4 months. As you can see, Madhya Pradesh has seen around 85% of revenue decline in the month of April. It spends almost 36% of revenue on rural development programs. Also, GDP of Madhya Pradesh is dominated by agriculture sector. It contributes around 45% to GDP and major population is also involved in agriculture. Around 22,200 crore has been allocated to Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana and around 3,171 crore of wheat was purchased, of which 2,420 crore is paid. Around 14,000 crore is monthly expenditure of state on interest payment, salaries and pensions. Major source of revenue are stamp duties, registration of land, liquor sales, state excise, which is 16%. Though they are targeted fiscal deficit of 3.5%, but it won't be able to achieve the target. Centre's devolution has also increased about 93,000 crores, which has given some relief to the state. Now, talking about Telangana, a rich state, as referred by its chief minister. It is governed by TRS party-led government with Chandrasekhar Rao as chief minister and Mr. T. Harish Rao as finance minister. With a disciplined fiscal since 2017-18. It has increasing revenues till 2018-19, but in 1920 the revenue declined and are expected to decline more. Only 5% of revenue is received in the month of April. 500 crore, and its monthly expenditure is about 10,000 crore. It has borrowed 4,000 crore till now and deferred salaries and pensions. It only paid 1,800 crores towards that, with 50 to 75% deferment, 2,400 towards debt services, and 87,000 crore towards Asra scheme, 2,400 towards COVID relief assistance. Agriculture is backbone of Telangana, as 55% contribution in GDP is of agriculture. The revenue comes majorly from IT companies. 15th Finance Commission, after observing rise in the revenue, decreased its share in tax devolution to 2.1% from 2.4%, of which 982 crores is received by Telangana. The state, which was optimistic about its revenue growth, is now demanding helicopter money and also asking center to increase borrowing limit. Now talking about Andhra Pradesh, which is being ruled by YRS Congress-led government with YS Jaganmohan Reddy as Chief Minister and Bogamma Rajendra Nath as Finance Minister. The revenue of state is dropped to 2 crore a day. Also, state has spent more than 10,000 crores on COVID-19 related activities, and center has extended assistance of around rupees 10,947 crores through various schemes till now, highlighting the importance of state. Highlighting the importance of states in the state in the economy and export of around 98,000 crore from state. CM Reddy has demanded center to cut rates in GST and assistance for sectors like textiles, pharma, metals and minings, auto components and food processing industry. Now getting on to the stimulus announced by government for states. Borrowing limits are increased from 3% to 5% of GSDP for the year 2020 and 21, and only quarter of this hike is unconditional and others are based on specific reforms like universalization of one nation one ration card scheme, power distribution, urban local body revenues, and ease of doing business ratings. I would like to conclude by subsuming the analysis in one sentence that this situation is triple for the states, not being able to pay what they owed, not being helped with additional resources, and bearing the brunt of the pandemic's impact. It is this point government should increase expenditure which has bigger multiplier effects, which can increase the demand and again start the cycle of economic growth and development. And also this is the high time of government to show the practice of cooperative federalism in true sense. States' opinion should be considered, as there are different requirements of different states, but some parameters can be uniform over all the states. Those parameters can be dealt with by center, such as the transfer of money under PM Garib Kalyan Yojana, the assistance, the parameter of assistance that should be given to migrant workers. But require job creation under Manregas, but the requirement of particular states should be left to them, such as the ground level health facilities, uh, the lockdown guidelines, the extension of lockdown, the division of different zone according to the severity of cases, etc. At this time, welfare of citizen or any human is to be prioritized.